Remember to check out Patreon. We're going to do David Brock. To help you get through this analysis, I would suggest you go look at my channel. On the front, I have an instructional, and one is dishonesty and honesty. And it has some very good points in there for picking out deception. And I use those terms a lot. And I sometimes forget that I have new subscribers. And you have no idea what I just saw as I'm talking about it. But I will try to remember, at least in this one, to explain it a little more. Let's get started.
Congressional race, actually. And so all of a sudden, it's horrible. But Hillary Clinton has some nerve to talk about the war on women and the bigotry towards women when she has a serious problem in her husband.
David Brock, Bill Clinton.
And we see him, he's already shaking his head. He's eyes wide open. No, Bill Clinton, no.
Being brought in.
Look, let's just start by saying, let's not talk about Hillary for a minute. What do the Republicans say about Donald Trump? Unhinged, proto-fascist. The Wall Street Journal editorial page today says he has a...
He's very stiff, very, very stiff as he's talking. Got a nervous nature. We don't want to sit there and go right into he's being deceptive. Basically, because it's an interview, and this could be a stressful situation anyways, and Katrina started off with a strong argument.
Pathology, a narcissistic personality. That's why he admires Putin, who's also a narcissistic strongman. So I think the question...
And he stiffened up even really bad on that one. And this is where you sit there and you go through the analysis in your mind and you start seeing as it comes together and go, maybe he stiffened up because he already knew where this was going to go and he was going to bring in Putin. And that is a very good sign of deception, especially since it stops here soon.
Is what kind of a man, let's forget the partisanship, what kind of a man insults, threatens...
There you go. He starts to soften up when he goes into what the Democrats see in Trump.
...and degrades women, not just Hillary, Megyn Kelly, Carly Fiorina. I'll tell you what kind of a man that is. That is somebody who is frightened, who is insecure, and is a wuss.
And we see how his arm is shaking, and his body is going with that shake, and his head is going into the shake. They're very small body movements, and it is your body singing with you. And so this is part of his belief system. Everybody has a belief system. Everyone. Your belief system. So he's going down what Republicans or right-winged or wherever you stand on the spectrum would say is false. But he's not lying to you. He's not being deceptive. He is going by his belief system.
Who has to act like a bully to make him feel like he's a big man.
And you see that where he had like a little flutter moment in his throat and in his mouth area. That flutter moment. It stressed him to say that. It bothers him a lot. It would be extreme anger in it from his end on the way Donald Trump acts.
And I'll tell you what, we're not going to be bullied in this campaign.
Katrina?
Well, and let's distinguish between the people that he's talking about, the quote-unquote Republican establishment, who happens to be losing handedly right now. And what's interesting about this notion of being bullied is, an poll, it shows that not only Donald Trump, but
he is not responding yes to her. He's responding yes to the person in his ear, asking if he can hear them again.
Cruz and Marco Rubio are statistically tied with women.
And we see that he's now responding to Katrina. And you see that he closes, he's like he licks the inside of his mouth. He like sticks his jaw out. The lips come out with it. He's really restraining himself not to talk over her. It's the sign of a polite individual.
That was not going to run on the issues. Hillary was going to try to run this wave on being a woman, and it's failing.
Look,
David, I want you to jump. I know you lost audio for just a second there, David, but again and again, and this is the warning, the be careful coming from Donald Trump. We're hearing it from Katrina. They're going to take on Bill Clinton.
And we're seeing that the little ice crunch that he did from Katrina. I mean, he's had things that he wanted to respond to, so his mind's already trying to keep that fresh. The interviewer is interrupting him, which will distract from his line of thought, and he's trying to keep it in his mind so that he can respond.
Right. Let him take on Bill Clinton. Look, this is not a Democratic problem. It's a Republican problem. You've got a Republican frontrunner. It is sad.
And now he's stiffening up again. It's a Republican problem. We would say that he's being deceptive, that it's not a Republican problem, and that they knew at this time that it was a Democratic problem.
Who not only insults women, is a racist.
But as he goes back into what Trump is and what he represents, his body starts to relax and get back into the groove.
Talks about Mexican immigrants as rapists, who is stoking Islamophobia, which is helping who want to kill us. This is a really dangerous situation, and it's a terrible problem for the Republican Party because Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is an opportunist. He doesn't care about the Republican.
You saw that movement. He doesn't care, and his head and shoulders went into it. That is him getting into it. That is that truth. He's giving you his truth. Once you start seeing the world and realize that everybody is lying to you or trying to deceive you, not that he hasn't already done it a few times, but once you start seeing that, you're going to start realizing that you're not arguing against liars and deceivers. You're arguing against a belief system. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're arguing with each other on a belief system. And once you realize that, you can start to work with each other. That the other person isn't out to get you. They just believe whatever they believe.
Party, to him, it's just a casino.
Katrina,
Well, it's actually a liberal problem, Aaron, because what you have on Hillary Clinton's side are a bunch of people, including women, liberal women, who want to run around talking about the war on women. They want to burn their bras and complain about equal pay and being treated as men.
He really wants to continue talking. Burn their bras. He was aghast by that. Like, oh my gosh. Through his head, shoulders back. Oh my gosh. Gas. Oh my gosh. Like, how dare you as, you know.
And the second they get criticized for anything, they start acting like 9-year-old little girls. So let's be serious.
It's terrible
Let's
to
talk
advocate for equal
policy.
pay.
Let's talk policy.
I saw his little head go down. They start acting like 9-year-old little girls, and his head kind of went down like, and it's very small. But in that mindset, she's having this argument on his belief system, and you see how that argument isn't getting through to his belief system. It's just hitting a wall. She's not converting him. She's not having him see it from her side. It's just turning into an argument of two belief systems clashing.
Here's the
Instead
one
of
thing,
going
guys.
around trying to call somebody sexist, racist, or misogynist.
We're not calling, it's what it is.
But
That is his belief coming out. That is, well, yeah, we're not calling it. To him, he's not selling you bullying it. He's not bullying you. He's calling a spade a spade. That's him saying what he sees it as. And his body is telling you this.
I actually
And
want to
it's
ask you
not,
something.
and don't tell me it's politically correct. It's just decent not to walk around saying racist and sexist.
And you see how he comes in with his head? Decent. He digs his head down into it. That head goes into it. Just like he's digging in. So what she's done with the argument of not coming at it as a belief system and realizing it's a belief system, you've made your opponent dig in.
Things.
Now, David, you're doing a very good job speaking for Hillary Clinton, but let me ask you about this fact.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
the response coming from Hillary.
And you see, he actually can, just the way the interview approached him. You're doing a very good job seeing, I don't know if she actually saw this, but we're seeing her coming in, and you're doing a very good job defending Hillary Clinton. Okay, thank you. You're bringing that personality back into, okay, we're going to conversate. And what does he do? He opens his eyes bright. Okay, I am now open to you. I'm going to open up, and we're going to have this conversation. I'm going to answer your question openly. And that's what you see.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
First, you had the campaign was silent. Then you had the Clinton campaign, a Clinton campaign official sent out a tweet saying, we're not going to respond. Fast forward no time at all, almost the same day, Hillary Clinton did respond in that very emotional way. What is the change? What is the decision behind that strategy? If she
You see his jaw tightened up. Right through here. You can see it really good on this side when his jaw tightened up. What was that tweet
he's not afraid to take Bill Clinton, pardon me, if he's not afraid to take Donald Trump on, what was behind that strategy choice and response?
I honestly, I don't know, but I'll just say that the things that were said the other.
And that's why we see that jaw tightening. He didn't know. It's not something he really wanted to speak about because he didn't know. So his jaw tightened to keep his mouth shut. We saw so many times that he opened it because he wanted to respond, and then on something he didn't want to talk about, we see his jaw tighten. Like his mouth, it wasn't a lip open, and we saw a big movement. We just saw the muscles tighten in his face.
Night, I was watching live. They were so shocking that the first thing you would say is you're just not going to dignify it. But then, look, he's the Republican frontrunner. Your own poll shows that today. He is surging on the basis of a radicalized Republican base, and he is giving voice to their bigotry. And so someone needs to call that out. And I'm glad Hillary Clinton's doing it, and we're going to continue to do it, because certainly the Republicans, who are his opponents, are too weak to really do the job.
Here's the thing to both of you. Neither Hillary Clinton among her base women, she doesn't have a problem with women in her base. Donald Trump also doing very well with women in the Republican base. So in terms of the primary...
I'm watching this just a little bit. Now that she opened him up and he opened, he did that opening moment. Okay, yeah, I'm open. I'll answer your questions. He's still keeping that opening with his eyes. There's not that it's all around. Here is open. Up to here is open. Everything is opened on his face. We're having a conversation. I'm engaging you, and I'm open to it.
This doesn't hurt either of these candidates. But what about if they make it to the general, Katrina? You can see the war on women that has been a somewhat successful charge in the past against Republicans. Is that a problem for the Trump campaign in a general?
Well, Kate, I think you're right. This was a problem in the past, mainly because any other Republican would be the quiet, soft person and not want to push back against the liberals or even the media for that matter. That's why this is very different. And just like I stated in the CNN...
See that little thing he did? That's why this is very different. Watch his eyes when we finally get to it. Watch the eyes.
Liberals or even the media for that matter. That's why this is very different. And just like I stated...
Right there. He had an eye movement, and it kind of went this way. And his body did the same thing. He's brushing it off. It was like what she's saying is, as they like to use, is illogical. It's whatever. She shut him down again. Is that when you have two belief systems coming against each other, and it immediately throws them off. Even before she gets done talking, she has shut him down mentally to want to engage her.
In the CNN poll, they're statistically tied right now with women. So I don't think this is going to be an issue for Mr. Trump. And more
And of course, his mouth is starting to move. He wants to speak.
importantly, when we're looking at Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, we have very big policy differences, number one. Number two, we're talking about moving forward. We're not going to be stuck in the 60s. Every time a Republican says anything, Kate, it's either racist or bigoted if they don't like it.
Yes, he's sticking his tongue out. Stuck in that disgusts him. That's why that tongue is out. He's disgusted with what she's saying. It's ugh. That's what he's doing. And it's a little weird that he did it. Yes, and it looks kind of odd. But he's not sticking his tongue at her like he's 3. He's just disgusted by what she's just said.
And it's just not going to work on a Trump campaign.
David, you guys...
And you saw that little mouth move that That it just goes in more how disgusted he was with her comment. We're stuck in the 60s.
Guys outdated?
Certainly not. In fact, the retrograde misogyny that we see from Donald Trump shows who really is outdated here. So look, this is a Republican fight. We don't
And now he's got the believe me look.
have any say over who the Republicans nominate. If they want to nominate Donald Trump, go right ahead and do it. But they're going to alienate.
And then it relaxes.
He already has alienated substantial parts of the country. He's put our country in danger.
And that wasn't a deception. That when he did that, that was be on my side. I'm meek. I'm not trying to deceive you. I'm just telling you like it is. At least on that line that he said.
which in my mind is a disqualifier for being commander-in-chief. But if the Republicans want to go down that road, if they really hate their leadership and the establishment and what the party stands for, don't talk to me about policy differences. Donald Trump has repudiated Republican ideology on foreign policy, and on economic policy. So we're seeing an implosion of the Republican Party right before our eyes.
I'll tell you guys.
And they believe this. And we're going to cut it off here. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm not doing any more manipulators. If I see them and they're suggested and I don't know it at the time and then I watch them and I see that they're manipulators, I'm not doing them. I'll post a comment on one of the social media sites, check in the description for all of them. There will be a schedule up as well that I'll put up on a weekly basis, and it is subject to change for that reason. And check out the instructionals. If you like it, leave it a like. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.